My daughter was studying for her environment class yesterday. It was about like the environment and parasites and like relationship of animals to parasites and parasites to animals and symbiotic relationships and consumerism relationships as it relates to like stuff that eats other things. And one of the questions was about the most common decomposers, and one of them was fungi. And I said, hey, what did the carrot say to the mushroom? She just looks at me, she goes, no. And I go,
no.
You're quite the fun guy. She's like, she literally goes, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, your dad jokes don't work anymore.
I thought it was pretty good. We could talk about dad jokes all day long, or we can talk about our new thing that we're doing. So the first thing that I want you to do is you got to get a piece of paper out. We're going to write down the 6 key areas of financial planning. And before we start anything over this next series, we are going to rate ourselves in these categories. So cash flow, retirement planning, investments, insurance, estate planning, and taxes. I think I got them all.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good?
Yep.
That's all 6. So give yourself a A through an F, a 1 through a 10, 10 through a 100, like whatever scale you feel like using. And what can we expect over the next, we're going to do this for the next 7 weeks, right? So we're going to kind of roll through this. What's on the agenda?
So we'll take little subcategories of all the categories you just listed and dive into them and talk through what does that mean in a really easy, digestible way.
So each one individually. So maybe next week, for example,
maybe touch on some cash flow, a little bit of expenses, some stuff we typically avoid, but let's get clear on it.
Big time avoider of having to deal with cash flow and expenses.
Yeah, let's address it at the very beginning.
Should we do an OG
yes.
financial planning intervention?
Yeah, we're just going to actually look at your expenses and make everyone else feel better.
Everyone else would feel way better, yeah. I suspect, in a hurry. Like, well, at least I'm not that guy over there. So all 6 areas of planning, but what if you go, hey man, I don't need to deal with this one area. I don't really care about estate planning. I don't really care about taxes. What does it matter to kind of consider all of them all at the same time?
I think we can have a financial plan in our heads that's super basic. Like we know, okay, we're just going to save a percentage of our salary.
Yeah. Somebody says, hey, save 15% and you're good.
Mm-hmm. And that could be the start. That's great. Mm-hmm. But eventually we got to take it one step further because all of those things interconnect. If we take the example, you're saving 15% of your salary, where are you saving that? How is that affecting your taxes today? How does it affect your taxes in the future? Where are you putting it? What are you investing it in? There's so many pieces to that interconnect with all the different categories that you mentioned.
Yeah, and the secondary effects, right? It's like you make a decision here and you're solving for whatever this problem is that you think is the major problem, and now maybe you created another problem down the line, right? The easy one is I just put a bunch of money in my pre-tax account. I save a whole bunch of taxes. It's like, well, now you have a $3 million IRA when you're 75, which sounds awesome until you realize Uncle Sam's a beneficiary of a third of that. And also they're going to determine for you how you take that money out. They're going to give you a schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of like we start by using these rules of thumb and what we hear is the best thing to do. But what we're going to do is interconnect all of those so that it's specialized to your plan and your financial plan and making it so that they all work together as one big
happy family.
One big happy family.
A happy family.
I like that.
It's like they're like the Waltons or Little House on the Prairie.
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah. I think, what was the Little House on the Prairie people called?
I haven't watched it.
It was a book, Anna. A whole series of books.
It is also a TV show.
Yes, but it was mainly a book series.
Yeah. Well, I didn't read it or watch it.
Clearly not. I know that it was a long time ago. Anyways, So this week, homework, we already talked about it. You got to get you got to rate yourself. The only way that you can measure progress is to measure it backwards. It's impossible to project into the future what things are going to look like in terms of measuring yourself, because you never feel like you're making any progress. So the only way you can make progress is if you measure yourself first and then look backwards at how you've grown. So make sure you sit down, take these 6 areas: cash flow, retirement, estate planning, insurance, taxes, and investments, and give yourself a letter grade where you are today, how you feel today about your success or failure, whatever you want to say in each one of those. And then in 7 weeks from now, we're going to go back and circle back to each one of those. You're going to grade yourself again, and hopefully, that confidence is increased. So next week what are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going to look at expenses.
Oh,
so nothing to do yet about it. We'll walk through the easiest way to figure that out for you, because I know that can be really overwhelming sometimes for people. So we just want to break it down, make it as easy as possible.
All right. See you next week.